What is going on, everybody? My name is Ciara Lawler. Welcome to another week of Movie Mondays. This is the Heroes for Hire podcast. We're back again talking all the week's movie news, entertainment news, and just generally having a bit of a chit-chat about everything to do with film. As always, I am joined by my partner in crime, Mr. Shaun Meehan. Shaun, how is it going?
I'm going well, Connor. I'd like to wish everyone a very happy Monday, a very happy start to the week. Hopefully this doesn't set you up for a bad week, this podcast.
We will say out loud right now, we are recording this slightly early. It is actually the day before, so if we miss any news on the Monday, then you can blame Shaun.
We're actually recording this February of 2020.
I guarantee there's going to be some massive news story tomorrow, and me and you will just be sitting there like, for fuck's sake.
It always happens. Anytime we try and get ahead of the game, they make news.
And I will also say that our next door neighbour has decided to redo his roof today. So if you hear banging in the background, I'm not beating anyone up. There's no wars going on. It's just a man and a hammer on top of some tiles.
Jeez, isn't that the purest way to spend a Sunday?
So, Shaun,
just a man and his hammer.
So this is Movie Monday, Shaun. And before we get started, I want to let everyone know, if whatever platform you are listening to now, if you could give us a review or like and follow us on whatever you're using, that would greatly help us out. I don't know why the algorithm does that, but the more people that review us or give us 5 stars or follow us, it makes it better for everyone else. More people will find us, all that kind of stuff.
That's it. It grows the community, and let's more. Look, I'll be honest. We want more people to listen to our nonsense and ramblings, because then we can justify it as like, hey, it's worthy of our time.
I want to ruin more people's days.
Oh, that's the end goal here. Just ruin people's days / weeks.
So, Shaun, we're starting this week with something I know is going to ruin your day.
Fuck.
So, now later this month, Shaun, there's a certain little thing that's coming out. You've probably heard of it. Maybe not.
St. Patrick's Day?
St. Patrick's Day as well. But around St. Patrick's Day, like 2 days after St. Patrick's Day, is a certain little movie called Zack Snyder's Justice League. Now, that's coming out, and we're all very excited. Shaun, you've told me you can't sleep with the excitement of knowing that it's coming.
The excitement of knowing that eventually there'll be no more Zack Snyder's Justice League news, correct?
You were like tossing it, it's like Christmas morning. No more! But Shaun, because it's coming out in 2 weeks, that means that they're going to have to they're gone hard on the promotional stuff. Which also means there's lots more news around this movie. Now, there was lots of tidbits, because Zack Snyder's done a whole heap of interviews recently, and he kind of let slip lots of other things, and then all the websites pick up on it like, Zack Snyder says this, Zack Snyder means this. But the one thing that caught my eye was, because there's so many of them, was that Zack Snyder came out and said, Zack Snyder's Justice League ends with a massive cliffhanger, Shaun. Yes! Thanks. Even when this is finished, it's not finished, Shaun.
Oh, no, it is, though. Like, no sequel is ever getting made to that Justice League movie. It cannot happen. There is not a hope in hell.
But then we also don't get the resolution in the movie.
Oh, so you're saying Zack Snyder's Justice League will be deeply unsatisfying, Connor? Is that what you're getting at?
I'm thinking this movie that's really just a reshoot of a previous movie we've already seen might not be the best.
Look, it's a bold claim. We'll see if it pays off. I don't know why you would. Maybe they're trying to get out ahead of it. Because I can imagine if I watched 4 hours of a movie and it ended on a cliffhanger that's never going to come, and I was unaware of it, I would be pretty upset. Now, honestly, it doesn't matter, first of all, so there's no reason to get upset about it. But
then why do you seem so angry?
It's just the person I am, I think.
You're just an aggressive man.
That's what everyone I know says about me. Aggressive Shaun, they call me.
They call him the wild man of the West.
And I live in the East. But the thing with...
Don't anger him. He hates when you get the directions wrong.
I live by the compass. The thing about it is, though, I do think it's not as angry as I am, but as mad as I am about it, I do think it's better to say it in advance that, this ends on a really big cliffhanger, because he's already said, and Warner Brothers have already said, there won't be a sequel to this.
Yeah, so they've kind of set us up. And so Zack Snyder has come out and said it was meant to be two more movies. So he originally had a trilogy that, in the news, he said he wanted it to be Lord of the Rings as a trilogy, which I feel like that's a pretty big claim to make. But he said it originally was going to be two more movies. It hints, as you would, at a potential other world. I'd plant the seeds, as I had wanted to, of what would come later in the films. That's in there. But as far as those stories that would be to come, if ever that happened, which it does not look like it would. But I think it's easy to speculate based on that, and we can talk about that for quite a while. It is a cliffhanger. The movie ends in a massive cliffhanger, yeah.
Like, will it though? Because if a cliffhanger is just, oh, it's Darkseid looking ominously at the Earth, that's not a cliffhanger as much as like if, you know, the film ends with Batman holding his own rib cage together. Like, that's a different kind of cliffhanger.
No, that sounds pretty good, though. What, are you writing the sequel?
I'm actually heavily involved in production. I wasn't allowed to tell until now.
Oh, also, one of the news stories, I'm throwing all of these in because I've seen all the headlines, is Justice League 2 would have taken place primarily within the Nightmare world, was one of them.
so it wouldn't have mattered. Brilliant.
Wouldn't have mattered. So it was just kind of just, you know, at the end of it they go, and then he woke up.
Just a little dreamland, you know, for Batman to live in.
It's pretty fun. Joker's there. It's really good.
Now, the thing is, I can totally see there being sequels to this in the form of, like, here's a comic book story, kind of following up on what would have happened. Like what the Injustice games did. They had a really good comic run come out of them. So I think that might be a way to, like, finish the story. But I don't think Warner Brothers will greenlight two Zack Snyder Justice League films based off of the recut he did of the original film that tanked.
And since then, Batman has a tank, what? And since then, we've had two teaser trailers for Batman and Superman. I think an Aquaman one is also planned. But they have a Batman and a Superman teaser trailer. And we can start with the two of them in that the Superman trailer has, the teaser anyway, I should say, reveals multiple Superman suits in the Fortress of Solitude, which is actually a pretty cool shot. Shaun, what are your thoughts on it?
Oh no, it is a cool shot, and Zack Snyder is, like, quite good at, hey, here's some cool shots.
Yeah, that's true.
I'm not sure how, like, these teasers, because we've seen in, like, promo material, and we saw a bit of it in the original cut of Justice League, is that Superman seems angry and evil when he comes back at first.
Yeah, but he was so sad beforehand, so you would have to be evil when you come back.
That's the thing, but
they're the two characteristics of good Superman: evil and sad.
Evil and sad. That's what makes Superman Superman. That's why everyone loves him.
That's why he's lasted this long. Everyone's always reading these comics. Man, these are so sad and evil.
But, like, does this trailer and the Batman one as well not just give it away that Superman becomes good in the end?
He does help Batman up in his teaser trailer.
Unless there's another frame after that where he just pushes him back down.
Where he lets go. He's like, yeah, come on up here. And then just goes, my mother's Martha. And Martha sends her regards, dickhead. he Charlie Browns him and pulls the football away. Sure, the whole movie is like trying to be friends with him, and he just keeps like going to high five him and then going zoink and pulling his hand away.
I'm not that read up on, like, the different Superman suits. I know there was a thing where there were, after Superman died, there were 4 separate Supermen in the comics. There are 4 suits here. Do you know, like, do they correspond to those characters or what?
I don't know if they correspond directly to those characters. One of them is the Man of Steel suit. And then I think one of them is the new suit, the slightly darker one, because I think the Man of Steel suit was slightly lighter. More blue.
Yeah, and then they turned the saturation down on it a bit.
Oh yeah. But it's the 4 suits, but it's unclear what the suits actually are. I think but we know one of them's black, one of them's very light blue, one of them's a slightly darker blue. So I think Zack Snyder put that in cool shot. And I think maybe we will find out that it did mean something later on, but as of this moment, I don't know if it has been revealed what they were actually going for with those suits.
Okay, and look, maybe that's something that was in the original cut that they didn't get to expand on. So maybe we'll learn more about that. They could be just like other Kryptonian battle suits or some shit like that.
Did you also hear that they were kind of teasing Ben Affleck's Abandon movie in the Batman trailer? You hear Lex Luthor talking, and I think that's what he would have said to Deathstroke. To basically be like, this is who you're going after. His name is Bruce Wayne, kind of thing. And then that would have been the teaser into the Batman movie where it's Ben Affleck's Batman trying to fight off Deathstroke for the whole film.
Right. That we never really got because of a whole bunch of issues all coming together.
A whole bunch of issues, yes.
Now, I do like... And look, I'm not mad on the Bat Tank. I know it's from a comic. It seems a big jump compared to what we've seen from Batman in the past. That he just has a full-on tank, but I do like the...
I think he needs a tank and a machine gun. I think Batman's not complete unless he has the two of them. It's like Batman, and then most people say Batman and Robin. I say Batman and tank.
Batman and Tommy gun, yeah.
Batman and Tommy. Does he have his Tommy gun? No. Does he have Robin? Well, he's not really great. Does Robin have a Tommy gun? Oh, he does. Oh, that's grand. Okay, fair enough.
But I like the swivel pan around shot. I will say the Joker's laugh at the end of it, terrible laugh. Really don't like it.
Okay, I think that Joker has been talked to death about. Some people like him, Shaun. Some people maybe think he's a bit damaged, character-wise, not just in him.
The thing is now is that we're going to have to, obviously, Connor, fly to America, get a HBO Max subscription.
Yeah.
Watch it and then fly back right after St. Patrick's Day. That's what's going to happen.
That is going to be tough on during a pandemic, but I feel like we can pull it off.
I think we're essential, are we?
I'm pretty sure. I can wear my scrubs while I'm flying.
Oh, God. Did you have scrubs, do you?
Well, no, I'm taking them from somebody else.
Someone who needs them.
And the guy at the desk is Zach Braff. Oh, shit. He's never going to believe me.
Wait, no, he's in a daydream. Now.
So, yeah, this is... Shaun, I think the main question is that all of this stuff about Zack Snyder's Justice League is being released. It's coming out... What day is it now? I mean, it's coming out in about 14 days, 13 days. Shaun, are you excited for this film? After seeing all of these teasers and being linked all these things that are coming out and Zack Snyder slowly revealing more and more, are you excited about seeing it?
No, but I'm curious.
Okay, that is a level.
Yeah, I have a morbid curiosity about it. Also, I just need to highlight this. Zack Snyder follows one person on Twitter, and it's Zack Snyder's Justice League.
Of course he does. Of course, the only person Zack Snyder follows is Zack Snyder.
That's it. That's the only person he thinks is worthy of following.
And he's liking all the tweets, like, this guy's pretty good. He knows what he's talking about when it comes to Batman. He seems pretty confident.
Sound off in the comments, guys.
So, Shaun, we're going to move on from Zack Snyder's Justice League, and as I always say, we will never talk about that again until the next time we have to talk about it. So, we're going to move on to something you like, Shaun, that is Star Wars. And so, Star Wars, as we've discussed, I think months back, I should say now, Disney had a big conference thing and they revealed all their new projects that they were doing, and one of the Rogue One prequels that they were doing was called Andor.
Yeah, and Cassian Andor spy movie thing.
Yeah, it was going to be based off Diego Luna's character in Rogue One. So they were going to be doing a project on that. It's actually a series, Shaun. And what we've learned is that Ewan McGregor's Obi-Wan Kenobi is to return in Rogue One prequel Andor for a recurring role.
Excellent.
Shaun, what does this mean?
It means we're getting more Obi-Wan content, Connor.
But in terms of the timeline, this is before Rogue One, so this is Cassian Andor's rise up to that movie. So how old are we talking Obi-Wan here?
So Rogue One is set literally Rogue One ends when A New Hope starts.
So 30 years, 25 years?
I think so.
Oh, no, less. Sure, Luke is like only 18 or 19. He's meant to be in the first one.
Oh, yeah. So we're talking... Obi-Wan's been in the desert maybe 18 or 19 years at this point, compared to when we last saw him. So he's about 50-odd, we'll say. A little over 50. And I'm curious, because the fact that it's a recurring role makes me think, like, he'll be travelling around the place with Cassian Andor in this.
As kind of a Baby Yoda style thing.
It's kind of a Baby Yoda style thing, exactly.
Imagine the scene. Ewan McGregor all wrapped up in a nice little blankie, and Cassian Andor just trying to shoot guys around him. He's like, "Would you help?" And he's just looking back at him with big, beautiful eyes.
Sorry, I just looked up Obi-Wan's age for all of this. So he was 25 in The Phantom Menace.
But Alec Guinness was 107 when he filmed that movie, so we're going to figure that out.
We'll work all that in.
Okay.
In Revenge of the Sith, Obi-Wan was 38. In A New Hope, which is Alec Guinness, Obi-Wan was 57.
Okay.
So it was, if the Andor series is taking place a few years before Rogue One, we could probably put Obi-Wan at being 50 years old. Ewan McGregor himself, how old is this man? He's 49 years old.
Oh, yeah, but Ewan looks 26.
Ewan does not look like Sir Alec Guinness, is what I'll say.
No, you're telling me that chap turns into Alec Guinness in 6 years. What the fuck happens in this series that turns him into Alec Guinness?
Do you think there's some really harrowing shit, like Obi-Wan gets tortured and all of his hair turns white and he gets a mass of wrinkles on his face?
And he just gets a lot angrier. And he hates Star Wars now.
I guess he has been living, like, in brutal like in the desert. He's not getting the fucking Coruscant spa days that he used to as a Jedi.
Yeah, I suppose. But also, Cassian Andor getting his own series, it's a pretty... I mean, what do you think of that character getting his own series? Did you want him after watching Rogue One? Was maybe he one of the characters you wanted to see more of?
Not really, because we know where his story ends. And I would argue that, like, stealing the Death Star plans is likely the like climax of that character's journey. Like, that's everything he's been working towards, and then he blows up at the end on a big planet.
Spoilers,
but come on, we all knew it.
Yeah.
I'm not really that interested in what leads up to him blowing up on a planet. I think, like, the story I saw in Rogue One was enough for me personally. But that being said, if you had asked me 10 years ago, I wouldn't have wanted a Wanda and Vision series in the Marvel Universe, do you know?
Yeah.
So, like, it can work if it's interesting.
And, like, they are doing the Andor series, so if they bring in Obi-Wan, like, Obi-Wan's getting his own series anyway, but if we show where he is in this one, maybe it can connect into his own series then later on. Like, you could have a scenario where we just see Ewan McGregor as Obi-Wan throughout all of his years. And then suddenly, I mean, after over a very, very harrowing 12-month span, turns into Alec Guinness.
Just like, it's like when they drink from the wrong cup in Indiana Jones and just age real quick.
I think it's just they banked on the wrong horse. Like, most people age gracefully. Ewan McGregor just has stopped aging. It's like, you can't hang on. It's like hiring Keanu Reeves 30 years ago for a series. But now you can't, like, pretend that he's, like, actually what his age is, because he hasn't aged. You just run into these people.
Have you seen Christopher Robin, by the way, with Ewan McGregor in it?
Yes.
Because that is Ewan McGregor trying to play, like, someone who has been through a life and is now tired and old. And he still looks great.
And so, do you think this series... I feel, personally, Diego Luna as Andor, or Cassian Andor, I did not find him interesting. I thought that he was probably one of the least interesting parts of Rogue One amongst that team that they assembled. And if they were going to do a series, I wanted some on several other characters before I got to him. But look, he was announced, fair enough. And then I'm thinking, okay, maybe it could be good. They now announce Obi-Wan Kenobi to appear in it. Is this kind of like a kick in the ass that they're like, maybe the series needs a bit of, I don't know, something, a bit of star power, as they say?
Yeah, I think I do think that could be it, that they're trying to get the fans on side a little bit, because I think everyone agrees that Ewan McGregor is like perfect Obi-Wan. So any project that he's included in would automatically have just that bit of love behind it. Whereas, as you say, I don't think... And look, Diego Luna did a fine job.
That wasn't anything against him. Like, I didn't feel like, oh, he's bad in the role. I just felt like that character probably wasn't the most interesting of the team assembled. Yeah,
exactly. And like, maybe... And we've only seen him in one film, and he wasn't really the main character of that film. So maybe they're just trying to give a bit more, what's the word for it? Prestige, I guess, to the project. Being like, no, we're putting like the fan favourite character in with this guy. We are putting them on the same platform on this.
Also, it would be really cool to have like Cassian Andor doing like secret missions as like a secret agent, and he has Obi-Wan with him. So if it all kicks off, Obi-Wan has someone there that he can protect him.
That would be great. What if he's on a mission on Tatooine and he hires Obi-Wan as like a bodyguard scenario?
Oh shit! Yeah, that'd be great.
That would actually be class. Okay, I'm on board.
Yeah, okay, we're back in. Because Obi-Wan's involved, so your nerd brain automatically is like, yeah, no, that's pretty good.
Yeah, he's going to be an absolute badass at all times, right?
Okay, Shaun, we're going to move on from Star Wars to talk about everyone's favourite movie that we've the casting of this film is just getting better and better as it goes on. Because, Shaun, I have more news on the Dungeons and Dragons movie.
I did see this news during the week, I think, and my God.
So far, we already know that Chris Pine is involved. You've got Michelle Rodriguez, you've got Justice Smith, and you've got Regé Page, so the guy from Bridgerton. So You've got all those people in there, and I'm thinking, this cast is getting better and better every time they announce someone. But now, we've always said Dungeons & Dragons, like the World of Warcraft movie, this could go very wrong, but it could also go very right. There's an inbuilt audience there, because now they have cast the villain for the Dungeons & Dragons movie, and that is going to be Mr. Hugh Grant, Shaun. So Hugh Grant is in this movie as the villain.
Ridiculous. I love it so much.
What kind of this is such a strange assembly of humans that are all really talented to do this movie.
And I would never, if you had asked me to cast a villain, I would never have picked Hugh Grant. Like, he would not have popped into my head. But now that it's said, I can absolutely see him being like, you know, the cruel, evil lord of the land who makes everyone's life miserable, kind of.
And I bet he'll completely overact. Like, it's going to be astounding, like, yes, mwahahaha, that kind of style.
He is going to be like Willem Dafoe Green Goblin levels of commitment, I imagine.
I want to see Hugh Grant shouting into a mirror.
Yeah, shouting into a mirror. There'll be. I wonder, is he playing a human? Are they going to put him in like weird fucking fantasy makeup and shit? I love that Hugh Grant signed up for this, is what I'm saying.
He guarantee he knows fucking not about Dungeons and Dragons. But they were like, Chris Pine is here, Michelle Rodriguez, Justice Smith, Regé Page. They're all pretty good. And he's just like, oh yeah, well, if they're doing it, fuck it, I'll do it as well.
Yeah, I did Paddington. I'll be fine.
Yeah, Paddington's pretty great. Maybe this will be the same level as Paddington, but it won't be, Hugh. It won't be. Nothing can reach Paddington 2 levels.
No. Oh, it's such a friendly movie. But D&D is going to be this, like, and wait till this movie starts actually like filming, right? Because there's going to be more wild stuff coming out about this. Like we just have casting at the minute, and we're already convinced. Oh, it's probably going to be at least all right, you know?
Yeah. I think all those people would not sign on unless it was alright. Like, think back to the World of Warcraft film a few years ago. Now, World of Warcraft is massive, right?
Yeah.
And I would say World of Warcraft is probably bigger than Dungeons and Dragons. That's probably offending somebody. I just mean in terms of marketability, like how many people have played the game, or play it regularly. But that movie did not succeed in any way because it just didn't have a lot of name faces. It didn't have a great story either. And so with this film, you can go kind of two ways, personally, in my point of view. You could either go the Jumanji route, which is kind of like you're aware of the fact that it's a game and you kind of play up to the fact like that is. Or you could go to World of Warcraft where you just enter into that world and it's like very fantastic and that's just the way it is.
Yeah.
Which would you prefer that they did for this film?
I think enter into the world because, like, D&D as a concept, you are meant to be like existing in that world. You're not meant to think of it as a game, really. So I think just tell a fantasy story, and if you use the D&D branding for, you know, some of the lore and get a bit of fan recognition from it as well, that's grand. But at its core, it's just going to be a cool fantasy movie, I think, which is something that I really like. And also, apparently, Hugh Grant's villain is going to be called Forge Fletcher.
Yes.
Which is... It's not from D&D, but imagine Hugh Grant being cast as that character 10 years ago.
Yeah, and I think he's very conscious of the fact that he wants to be like these characters. They've also cast Sophia Lillis, who is from It and It Chapter 2, and so she's going to be joining the cast as well. But so you've Chris Pine in the lead, and you've now got Hugh Grant, who's going to be playing the main villain. And so
Do you
then you
think
have all... Go on.
Chris Pine will be Hugh Grant's estranged son in this movie?
Oh, 100%. I mean, either son or, like, nephew.
Yeah,
or,
some relation.
Yeah, he's some relation. So they have to be just, like, they have to know each other. And they're going to be good friends at one stage. But Hugh Grant, he's too evil, Shaun. He can't. They
can't go down that same road. They have different views and such.
They have different views. One of them wants to take over the world and one of them doesn't. It's too different.
There's no middle ground.
There's no middle ground, Hugh. So, Shaun, I ask again, as I always ask with every news story we get about this movie, are you excited about the Dungeons and Dragons movie?
I really am. I'm surprisingly excited about it. I really want it to be good.
Because at the start you were not.
At the start I was sure they would fuck it up. But now I'm like... This is honestly one of my most anticipated movies currently, like, in production.
It's coming out in 2022, so May 27th, 2022 is when it is coming out.
That's a tough slot as well. Like, the start of summer.
Yeah, although to be fair, cinema is nothing at the minute. I think they're just pushing everything back. So
That's true.
I actually think 2022 is going to be so fucking packed that I think it's even tougher than it normally would be.
Oh, that's true, because there's this backlog of movies that are waiting to come out. Like No Time to Die, for example.
I mean, that won't be out by 2022, Shaun.
That will never come out.
I think you need to schedule that for 2027.
Grand. So we'll be long gone, Connor, before that movie comes out.
Ana de Armas will have retired from acting at a ripe old age of 75, and that movie will not have come out.
But the calendars will still be made.
So yes, that is the Dungeons and Dragons movie. We will keep you updated on any future updates, because that movie gets better and better looking, and now I'm going to be more... Like, before I had no stakes in it, but now if it's bad I'm going to be disappointed. Whereas before I was just like, a video game or board game movies, they don't normally succeed, might not be great. But now if they fuck this up, I think it's worse.
Because you've dared to hope now.
Yeah, I've allowed myself to believe, Shaun. So we're going to move on to our next piece of news, and this is something that, Shaun, I believed in last week, and I felt like you pushed back against it, and you didn't like it, and that really offended me. And so we're going to have to talk more about Robbie Williams, his biopic based on his life, Shaun.
Do we have to?
We do, because I have further news, and that is that Robbie Williams will be in the film, and he will be played by a CGI monkey in the biopic based on his life.
What? What? What the fuck? Connor, what does that sentence mean?
Robbie Williams to be played by CGI monkey in biopic based on his life is the headline that has been put in a newspaper.
Why? What does... Robbie Williams, the man, is being portrayed in the biopic about Robbie Williams, the man. Yeah. He is being portrayed by a CGI monkey.
No, I think there's another man going to be portraying him, and Robbie Williams will be portraying a CGI monkey.
Oh, right. I thought a CGI monkey was portraying Robbie Williams. Excuse me.
So the movie will be called A Better Man and will explore the demons that Williams battled off stage while he rose to the top of the music game, Shaun. But it is hard to see where a monkey fits in there, to be honest with you.
Is the monkey like is he through the whole movie? Is it just one scene?
Maybe it's through the whole movie. Director Michael Gracie had previously said, as for how we represent Robbie in the film, that bit is top secret.
But surely he's represented because it's about him.
Yeah, he's in the movie, Shaun, and now he's also a monkey.
But I don't Connor. Okay, continue with the quote. I'm sorry, I feel like I'm going mental.
Yeah. This movie gets stranger and stranger. We talked about last week how Robbie Williams getting his own biopic seemed like he should be further down the pecking order for biopics of famous musicians than he actually is. But this kind of confirms it, that now I'm actually slightly more excited to see what kind of batshit stupid stuff they're going to do for this movie.
This is... But I'm actually speechless. I'm not putting on... How does this... What fever dream did they have in the writer's room? How did this get approved? What studio said, that's fine?
I feel like a studio that maybe he set up himself.
That's possible. You know what? That is possible. But I hate this so much.
Michael Gracie was also talking, and Shaun, I've got further updates on how this movie's going to be structured. So not only do we have Robbie Williams playing a monkey, that's CGI, we have a guy, probably a different guy, playing Robbie Williams being sad. But all Robbie's songs will be re-sung for the emotion of the moment. If in his life he's in at the depths of despair, he's not gonna sing a song as cabaret flamboyant showmanship. It's gonna be broken, a cappella, stripped down, because that's where he is emotionally.
All of the production that goes into pop music to make it as listenable and easily accessible as possible, they're just getting rid of all of that, and it's just a man singing. What if he's sad though? But if he's sad, surely you can have a sad song. There's lots of sad movies with sad songs.
In moments of pure joy though, Shaun, you'll get songs sung in this whirlwind of hysteria, says Michael Gracie. Yes, I'm locked in. Robbie Williams playing a monkey, another man playing Robbie Williams. Give me the biopic. I want it like Rocket Man but on drugs. Shaun, what are your thoughts?
This is fantastically dumb. I am... Honestly, there are so many projects that don't get greenlit, and this is happening.
Like really good movies.
Or sequels to movies that will never happen. Like Zack Snyder's Justice League 2.
Yeah, that we'll never see that greatness, but we'll have to sit and watch a Robbie Williams biopic, Shaun.
Oh, I'm not watching it. That's the thing. Not watch.
I'm going to do a review. I'm going to make sure we do a review of this film, because we've covered it twice now, and I feel like if we don't do a review, it's letting the listeners down.
I don't think the listeners give a shit about Robbie Williams.
It's a CGI monkey, Shaun, and he's played by Robbie Williams. Think of a monkey singing Angels. I can't. That's why I need to see this.
Surely you could just put Angels over footage of a monkey moving his mouth.
I mean, that sounds so bad. Yeah, you could. What about if we watched the monkey dance to Rock DJ? I think I'd like to see that.
But the thing is, Connor, I would watch like a trained acting monkey do that. Yeah. But it's going to be a weird CGI Robbie Williams acted monkey.
Yeah, but you know, lads who did Lion King.
Do you know what I want? I want the pre-VFX shots of Robbie Williams dancing around in a ping pong ball suit like a monkey.
You think he's going to do this himself?
Oh, without it, what's the point?
Well, I mean, he's probably just going to do the voice. I'm sure they're going to get somebody else in to do the monkey.
Sorry, the monkey speaks, does it?
Oh, yeah. Well, they're not going to get Robbie Williams in to play him if he doesn't speak.
But, look, why is it... This is horrendous. This is the worst concept I've ever heard.
I think this is the best concept. I think this is a concept that's happened.
You are wrong.
Is that Robbie Williams got really drunk and he just started really just ringing his agent saying the most batshit crazy stuff at him. And his agent was like, yeah, Robbie, we'll let that happen.
I mean, I'm fucking... This is someone who's been given too much control over a project. Or imagine being the guy who like came up with the idea for the monkey and then had to pitch that to Robbie Williams thinking, oh, he'll never go for this. And then he loves it.
Yeah, he's like, no, he's after going through all the lists. Okay, we could have you as an extra. We could have you as the talent agent who finds you and like discovers you. We could have you could play Gary Barlow. I know that's fairly low on the list, but you could play Gary Barlow. Well, you could play an interviewer. Maybe like you're interviewing the guys and this is Take That on the Rise and all that stuff. And then Robbie's like, no, I don't like it, Tom. I don't know what I need, but I know it when I hear it. And then like Tom is just like going down his list. He gets to option 407. You could be a fucking monkey? Tom, why didn't you fucking start with that? Jesus
Tom,
Christ.
we've been here for days.
Full beard. There's just coffee cups everywhere. Tom, why did you not start with telling me I could be a CGI monkey?
Well, Andy Serkis wasn't available, so we'd need someone to be in the ping pong ball
We need
suit.
you to do the next Planet of the Apes movie. I think this will be great practice. They're going to do another trilogy, Robbie, and I think this could be your tryout.
Matt Reeves is the executive producer on the Robbie Williams biopic.
They bring him in, and Andy Serkis is there as his acting coach.
It's like, so just imagine you're a monkey. All right, I'm with you. Thanks, Andy.
Okay, lads, I'll talk to you later. Go have a good time. Okay, bye, lads. Shaun, are you excited or not excited about Robbie Williams?
What do you think?
I think you're excited. I'm getting vibes of excitement.
This is I'm not going to see this, Connor. This is an hour and a half of my life I will never get back.
I'm hoping it's going to be 2. So I don't think you can tell it all in 90 minutes. I think I need to see the 2 hour or 2.5 hour mark past before I fully grasp the plot.
Robbie Williams is going to have too much of a hand in this. If you're making a biopic about someone, I don't think that person should be too involved, because you can get like rose tinted glasses and stuff. Again, the monkey seems weird. Has he ever? If I Google Robbie Williams monkey, what do you think is going to come? Well, it's going to be that news story now, isn't it?
Yeah, it's going to be that news story, but I also think he probably has dressed up as a monkey once. Maybe he likes monkeys, maybe he likes the zoo.
There's a song called Me and My Monkey.
Oh, there you go. Now you feel stupid, I'd say.
I don't feel stupid.
Shaun, do you want to move on?
Please.
So we're going to move on to our next piece of news, and that is about Star Trek, Shaun. So there is going to be... There's been a lot of talk over the last probably few months, even a year, that there have like all these Star Trek thoughts of possible movies they're going to do. They even had Tarantino come in, and he was going to do his own movie, or if he was going to do Star Trek 4, which is going to be the sequel to all the Chris Pine ones. And there was just a lot of confusion about where Paramount Pictures wanted to go. But now we have finally clarified that Tarantino is out, right?
Right.
But that the new Star Trek movie is also going to be coming from Paramount Pictures, and that it reports that Kalinda Vasquez has signed on with the studio to write an original Star Trek movie with J.J. Abrams Productions producing, Shaun. That is his Bad Robot production company. So J.J. Abrams is doing it through the production side, but Kalinda Vasquez is writing it. So they're doing an original Star Trek movie that is going to be separate from the past trilogy they only just finished like 3 years ago.
Was it 3 years? My God.
I feel like it was 3 years ago. When was the last one?
Most recent Star Trek movie. See, the thing is, I quite liked the first Star Trek of the reboot. Star Trek Beyond 2016, so 5 years
2016.
ago. Not, to be fair though, it's still far too recent for a reboot, I think.
Yeah.
I think you could conceivably set it in the same universe, that like all of the things we've seen in these most recent movies, they all happened. But maybe you do like a Jean-Luc Picard style thing, that you have a new captain and a new crew, do you know? You actually very well could do like a Next Generation type thing, where it's just like, yeah, all the Captain Kirk stuff with Chris Pine, that all happened in the past. Here's the new crew and the new stories.
Well, yeah, like the TV series cover that as well. Like, you could just base it off a different crew, as you said. Like, you don't have to always go to Captain Kirk and Chris Pine. You can,
yeah,
and Spock doesn't have to be there.
Exactly. Now, what I'm saying there is that, like, it can be a new story, but they don't necessarily have to write all those other films out of existence. Do you know? Like, because they've done a lot of universe building in those. So it'd be a shame to kind of start all over again. But I do think that it is cool to see Star Trek movies. Like, they're all pretty good. The first one I think is the best, and then it kind of falls off a cliff. But you know, a new view and a new story and a new maybe crew could be really good for the whole franchise.
And do you think that there is... I know Star Trek is a massive property, but like, do you think it will have the same hit as, say, the 2009 one, as you said? Like, that is really... It's a good film. Like, it's a really good film. And number 2 kind of falls down slightly. And number 3 is a fun romp. But I would say number 1 is a good film. But it also came perfectly that it had been away long enough that Star Trek was new again. And you could do the thing of like, oh, we're showing it to a whole new generation and we're after updating everything. Whereas I feel like if you do another movie next year about Star Trek, people will immediately think, oh, is this number 4 to the last movies that I seen?
Yeah, and that is the danger, I suppose. But like, I think in terms of competition, I think it's Star Trek would be in a very good place, because it's always been compared to Star Wars in a lot of ways, and the last Star Wars movie people were really soured on. So I think,
if somehow Palpatine was in Star Trek?
Oh,
what if he just came back?
If Ian McDermott was Jean-Luc Picard.
Yeah, no, I want Spock to be sitting there and he just turns around and he's just like, holy shit, Palpatine is back. And everyone's like, who the fuck is Palpatine?
Oh,
you don't get it, guys. It's a long story.
It's, like, I think Star Trek could position itself as, oh, we're the proper space adventure, if you get me.
Yeah, I think, and as you said, there is a gap in the market. Although Star Wars, I mean, is always going to be Star Wars, and that whole market, they kind of have a clamp on the Disney Plus market as well. They have all these series coming out and future films planned. But I think Star Trek, like, you can do some really, really cool stuff with these characters, and they don't have to be Spock and Kirk, as we've said. But those movies are also good, so it is interesting that they're rebooting the whole thing again, and they're just kind of going again. Instead of, they had Tarantino to write an R-rated Star Trek movie at one point, but he ended up walking away from the project. You'd have some sort of scenario maybe that this new team, as you said, they come in and they're like, oh yeah, 100 years ago, that weird shit happened. Now we're going to have a brand new scenario of problems.
Yeah. And look, there's precedents for that in Star Trek history, I suppose.
And Star Wars.
But to varying levels of success.
Yeah. Do you think this could make a lot of money? Is really the idea. Do you think the world wants another Star Trek movie, or would you... I don't know, I was going to say rebrand it, but Star Trek is the name. So I suppose you just have to go with that and hope that people don't consider it as the fourth one or a prequel to those films.
Yeah, I think I think you just need to market it, just lean into it and just be like, no, it's Star Trek, whatever. There's no number on it. And then if people are into it, they'll be like, oh, okay, it's a new story. If people saw the last one and are kind of interested in a sequel, they'll see it anyway, but they'll be caught up in the first 5 minutes that like, oh no, it's a different set of characters or a different story or it's all new, you know?
You just even have a picture of Chris Pine on the wall and somebody's walking past him before they go on their mission, like, he was the best captain we ever had. Oh, man.
But what a rogue.
But what a rogue. Oh, he ate that apple and he was all cool. But my God, he was handsome. He had some really weird stuff with Spock. So we're going to move on, Shaun, to our next piece of news. And this involves another live-action Disney property. Now, this is not the announcement of another one, Shaun. I want to just prepare you.
Okay.
It's a casting announcement of one we already knew was happening.
Right, okay. Is it The Hunchback of Notre Dame?
It is not. It is Pinocchio. So they are going to be doing a live-action Pinocchio film, Shaun. Now, we've kind of talked about that Tom Hanks was going to be in the movie as Geppetto.
Yeah.
But you also had Luke Evans from Beauty and the Beast. He was added as the coachman. But now Jiminy Cricket has been cast, Shaun, in this live-action Pinocchio movie.
There's one person I will accept for this.
Okay.
Is it Jack McBrayer?
It's not.
Oh.
It's Joseph Gordon-Levitt.
Oh!
What do you think of JGL?
Really? JGL decided to be Jiminy Cricket?
Yeah. I think he seems like a fun kind of guy, though.
Yeah, he is. He's up for a laugh, I think. That's a weird... I can't imagine... Because fucking Jiminy is quite like a southern drawl kind of a thing. I can't imagine Joseph Gordon-Levitt doing that. Unless he just completely changes the voice, I guess.
I suppose he can, but what do you think of his casting, though? So you have Joseph Gordon-Levitt now within the cast. You also have, as we mentioned, you've got Keegan-Michael Key, who is also in this as Honest John, and not only that, but you have Tom Hanks playing Geppetto, which I think that's actually a pretty strong cast for this live-action Disney remake.
It is. It's a good lineup. Weirdly, I'm not mad on the remakes. Pinocchio is the one. I think I said this when the announcement came. It's the one I kind of tenuously allow for some reason.
Why?
I don't know. It makes no sense to me. But it's I think it's because there's already been live-action Pinocchios and stuff.
Yeah, so I suppose it's just another remake. What can you do?
Yeah, exactly. And I like the story of Pinocchio. It terrified me as a kid. Because, he gets turned into a donkey because he was bold and some shit.
And you were like, fuck, that's going to happen to me.
Oh, fuck, I better be good. Now I have anxiety.
Your parents used very strange methods to get discipline.
Effective, though.
Effective. Shaun, if you do not clean your room, you will be turned into a doll. I don't want to stress that enough.
Oh, fair point, Dad. Thanks very much.
You know what? You answered my next question, which was, what the fuck will I turn into? Fair enough.
Asked and answered, sir.
But I like... Tom Hanks as Geppetto, I think, was perfectly cast, because I can kind of see him in that perfect look. And Joseph Gordon-Levitt as Jiminy Cricket, I think that's a very strange role, but I also think it could be a heartwarming movie, Shaun. We could have a good remake from Disney.
That is... to be fair, none of the remakes have been outright bad. I just think they're unnecessary.
Oh, they're all bland.
They're all like the milquetoast version of a Disney story.
Yeah.
And, the animated ones, the original ones, are, they exist and they're better and they're good. And you don't have to watch the remakes if you don't want to.
What did you think of Lion King?
Didn't see it.
Okay. But you won't mean the animated one and the live action one.
Oh, I've not seen The Lion King at all. I've seen Lion King 2, Simba's Pride.
What did you think of all of the announcement? I know what one you were very excited about was the Lilo and Stitch live action that we're going to be getting.
That one is
increasingly
good, isn't it? Dumb the more I learn.
What are you talking about? Robbie Williams is playing Lilo.
No, he's not. Is he?
He's also playing Stitch.
He's Lilo and Stitch in some kind of mocha, and they're both monkeys in this.
He's stretching his acting capabilities these days. He's really trying out for Matt Reeves' next trilogy.
For the Batman.
For the Batman. He's like, one of his agents has told him that he can become Batman. All he has to do is act in all these fucking movies.
The day Robbie Williams becomes Batman, I walk from this podcast.
The day Andy Serkis loses every gig in Hollywood because Robbie Williams takes over as the guy who comes in and does CGI animals.
That is the darkest timeline.
Andy Serkis is unemployed. Shit! I shouldn't have taken those years off to do Black Panther. Oh man, I had all that. I had every single role lined up.
Oh, I ended up talking about SoundCloud and rap.
So Shaun, yes, Joseph Gordon-Levitt has joined as Jiminy Cricket in the Pinocchio film. So that is locked in. That cast is getting better. I wouldn't say I'm excited to see it, but I'm interested for the first trailer, if that makes sense. Like, I want to see the first trailer for all these movies, and then I can say, oh, it's bad, or oh, it's good.
Yeah. Now, the thing is about, like, when we see the trailer, I can already picture what this movie looks like in my head. It's going to be that...
Does it have Robbie Williams?
It does, in every scene.
Okay.
But not, like, in the scene. He's just on frame, dancing.
He's dancing as a monkey.
As a monkey, of course. The only way to properly dance
of course.
is Robbie Williams.
That's a fucking ridiculous question to even ask. I know. I take it back.
It's not even ridiculous, Connor. It's an ignorant question. Of course he's a monkey.
Sorry. Of course he is. And I like how he gets 10 years down. He's like, guys, I can sing as well. Just dance, Robbie. Just put on the monkey suit and dance.
Dance, monkey, dance.
Shaun, would you like to get to our big news story of the week?
Oh, was it not the Pinocchio casting news?
It was not the Pinocchio casting. No, it has something to do with Marvel Studios, Shaun.
What?
Yes, so Marvel Studios has reportedly started developing an X-Men movie titled The Mutants, and that is our big news story of the week, Shaun. So,
absolutely.
What are your thoughts on this?
Absolutely excited.
Yes.
Curious more than anything. I don't know. Are you caught up with, let's just say, every Marvel thing, Connor?
I am caught up with every Marvel thing, but I feel like a lot of the listeners might not be. So how deep do you want to go?
I just want to do a blanket spoiler warning for any Marvel things that currently exist in the world.
He means WandaVision.
Yes, spoilers for WandaVision.
Just to make that clear, in case someone's like, well, WandaVision's DC. No, he means WandaVision.
But when you say there's a spoiler for WandaVision, people are like, ooh, are mutants related to WandaVision?
Okay, yeah, I can make... Well, I suppose, yeah. But okay, for the next 60 seconds, spoiler warning is locked in. Shaun, go ahead.
Right, okay, so we all thought Quicksilver from the Fox movies would come over to the MCU. That was fucking wrong. Which I think was an incredibly dumb move on Marvel's part, because, and look, I get, like, I built all this stuff up in my head, but if you cast an actor who's famous for playing a version of a character that is missing from your existing universe, and you cast them in that universe, and then you just say, oh no, he's just some dude, I think that's bad form, honestly. It'd be like having Hugh Jackman play a random security guard.
Yeah, I can see where your logic is, yeah.
Yeah, now, in terms of the Mutants movie...
Okay, can we raise the spoiler warning?
Spoiler warning lifted. I just needed to get that off my chest.
That's good stuff.
The Mutants. I'm really interested to know, are they going to do a thing where, the Mutants existed in the MCU all the time, they were just hiding? Or if mutants suddenly appear in the world?
See, I think you have to do they suddenly appear, because unless, I think it's very hard to pull off the story of, they've always been here, but they were in hiding. Especially when, there's been so many times where the world is in peril, that at least one of them would have shown up to do something.
That's true. And I don't think there's a lot of characters that you could, retroactively say that they're mutants. You know,
I think WandaVision, or, Wanda's probably the only one that you could.
Yeah, and apparently, magic is because magic is a thing as well, and magic is more established in the MCU than mutants are. You can just write characters like Wanda off as being magic, as pure magic.
Yeah, and there's also superpowers in a weird way. There's magic and there's superpowers, and Thor is a god, and that works in comic book form. But if you raise up the fact that there's gods and there's magic and all that on one side to the audience, and we've known that for since 2008? No, probably 2010 when Thor came out, 2011. Yeah. So, you've known it since then. I think it's a lot harder to go, there's also just some people that have mutant genes in them, and that they're also just there, but they're different from Thor. He's not a mutant, he's a god. And some people have superpowers and some people are mutants.
Yeah, these are, it gets messy very quickly. I had a theory, because I've told you about, there's a comic, Deadpool Kills the Marvel Universe.
Yes.
I was just toying around with this, and what if you did a Deadpool makes the mutant universe, and it's Deadpool, Ryan Reynolds, who will appear in the MCU, hopping around universes, picking his favourite versions of X-Men characters and just dropping them into the MCU.
Really? Okay. But then you'll have people complaining because he didn't pick their favourite one.
That's also true. And Hugh Jackman wouldn't do it, and Patrick Stewart probably wouldn't do it.
No, I think those people, and they're happy enough to retire because they had great roles. Hugh Jackman and Patrick Stewart both finished on Logan, and I don't think the two of them want to come back ever. If you finish on Logan, and that was so perfectly done. Maybe for a 30-second cameo, but even then, I think you would have to make a truckload of money arrive at their house and just be just show up for 60 seconds on one day on set just to do this one shot. But
yeah,
I think once you bring the mutants over, they're going to be doing it, they're calling it the Mutants rather than X-Men, as they had Marvel Studios have come out and said that they felt that the X-Men name was outdated since there's so many women members, which, I feel like that makes some sense, and also it differentiates you completely from the Fox universe, because they have the X-Men series where you can have the Mutant series, which is the same characters but it's just different.
Yeah, exactly. In terms of even a Google search, imagine if there were two movies called X-Men, one that came out in 2000 and one that came out in 2025 or whenever it is. It just makes it easier to find and differentiate, as they say. And it also gives room for it to be an origin story, because it's not a story about the X-Men. It's a story about how mutants came to be, if that makes sense.
Do you use... this isn't really a spoiler for WandaVision or anything like that, but do you use Doctor Strange and Spider-Man to not only introduce all the Spider-Men, but to introduce the mutants, as we've been chatting about for the last while? But now it's confirmed they are doing a Mutants movie, and I think it makes more sense if they come from a different dimension than if they were always just there.
Yeah, but I said... Okay, I'm in two minds about it, honestly, because on the one hand, if they're entirely new characters in our universe, then you get to really establish what these characters are, what their powers are, and what they stand for. Coming over from another universe, the bonus is that you get to bring over characters who already have all of their powers and they're established and they already have relationships with each other, but you then have to like clumsily explain that in maybe 5 or 10 minutes in a movie.
Yeah, I think you need a clean break. I think literally you just need to hire a whole brand new bunch of people. Like, it worked for X-Men First Class. I mean, they were the same characters, but they were also completely different people playing them, and I think they did really well. Like, that casting is really good with James McAvoy and Fassbender, like that, and Jennifer Lawrence. Like, those three alone are perfectly cast.
That's
so
the thing. Like,
what are you going to say?
I was going to say, like, the idea of, you know, casting another Magneto and another Mystique and another Professor X and another Beast, like, it's going to be hard for like whoever is casting those roles, because as you said earlier, like, fans have favourite versions of those characters already, and they have quite a large pool of actors who portrayed those characters to pick from between all the different movies that there's been over the years.
And also, do you think they could get it right again? I know Disney and Marvel own everybody and they could just get any actor they wanted, but like, Patrick Stewart and James McAvoy, perfectly cast. Ian McKellen, Fassbender, perfectly cast, back to back. It's not very often you get back to back perfect casting of the same character. So can they go for 3 in a row, but in a different universe?
I probably is the answer there, because, you know, they as you say, they do own everyone and everything, and they have all the money that they can ever throw at a project. But I don't really have any ideas of who you could pick. Maybe you go with an unknown, that, like, they're not this famous established actor or anything like that. Maybe that's the way to go about it.
Do they bring in Wolverine? Indeed. I see he has the biggest name recognition, but also if you don't bring in Hugh Jackman, is it worth it?
I mean, see, they could, like, they have an opportunity here that it could be, you know, the way there's always big news about the latest Bond casting or the latest Batman or Superman casting.
Yeah.
Imagine being the next Wolverine. Like,
yeah,
that's enough press on its own to sell a movie.
And they'll have to hire Carl Urban. So, I mean, we've already cast him.
We've already cast Carl Urban in the role, that's true.
Yeah, to be honest with you, I'd like to see Carl Urban in that role. Would you go with the classic tall, handsome Wolverine, or do they fully commit to 5 foot, hairy prick Wolverine?
Oh, make him an absolute mess of a man.
Yeah, just awful to be around.
Also, I don't think Carl Urban could do it because he's Scourge in Thor.
Oh, yeah, shit. Oh, Carl, you signed yourself up too early.
You should have held out for the wolf.
You should have known 10 years down the line they'd buy Fox.
You should have planned ahead, Carl, let's be honest. Now,
yeah, that's poor form from Carl now, to be honest with you.
I do think, like, don't make Wolverine be handsome Hugh Jackman in these new movies. Let him have a bit of, like, roughness to him. And also, I don't think they should make Wolverine the main character, because he was the main character of, like, 9 films.
No, I think people were okay with that because it was Hugh Jackman, but I feel like Wolverine needs to move to the further back of the line. Now, it really should be Professor X versus Magneto, and then Professor X is like has all of these kids that are all going through issues, and they're like his team that he's using to try and save the world repeatedly. Like, you have 7 Spider-Men all at once.
Yeah, like, it is mad the amount of power that exists within, you know, X-Men and the mutant community kind of thing, and it just doesn't exist in the MCU at the minute. Do you do the Avengers versus the X-Men? That would be a great way of, like... See, I think you do that eventually, but don't go, like, full Batman and Superman on it and just do it as the second film where the mutants exist.
No, I'm thinking first film.
First film, right out of the gate.
The movie starts, opens up, you've got Thor there, and he's like, oh man, I'm so handsome, wow, I'm having a great time on Ragnarok too. Patrick Stewart turns up, knife, stabs him straight in the back. He's dead, right? Thor is just dead. Movie starts with Avengers versus X-Men.
Like, we haven't seen too much of, like, post-snap MCU. Like, post everyone coming back. It is possible that the snap emitted enough radiation to mutate certain people, right? Yeah,
and maybe it's only the people that disappeared, and maybe when they come back, some of their mutant genes are brought out.
That could be it. You know, that because they were broken down and then re-put back together, their genes aligned in a certain way.
Their Jean Greys aligned in a certain way.
Their Dark Phoenix aligned in a certain way.
Do Dark Phoenix #1 again.
Out of the gate, I want Dark Phoenix, alright?
I don't want any backstory. No context. Just give me Jean Grey going mad.
I mean, I'm really interested to see how they handle it. They have a lot of plates to juggle at the minute with, like, the multiverse stuff. All of the, like, we have to get like a proper Mandarin movie that's coming out in July. All of the Disney Plus series that are coming out, they have to tie into everything. Like, there's a lot of moving parts in this, and I'm hoping that none of those parts fall off.
But I think there's probably so many moving parts that even if one slightly falters, the others will just pick it up and just keep going.
Yeah, I also don't think that should be a safety net that they have. Just like, we'll get it in the next one. I don't think that's a good mindset when making a series, Ratton.
No, I think, for WandaVision, like, that's a good start. You also have Loki, you've got the Winter Soldier and Bucky. The Winter Soldier and Bucky. There's Winter Soldier and Falcon. You've got like all of those series coming out along with all the movies. Like 2021, they're going absolutely hard at. So halfway through the year, if they're knocking it out of the park, and then they're like, we're also doing an X-Men movie next year, or probably in 18 months. Like, the whole world will just be like, oh yeah, let's fucking go. Like, the momentum is there, and you can definitely see it picking up. So I'm just interested to see what they do. They have the New Mutants planned. Not New Mutants, I should say, Jesus. They have the Mutants planned. New Mutants, different movie altogether. We do not want that.
Please no.
So, yeah, Shaun, I think that's it for this week's Movie Mondays.
What a week of news. It was a packed out week. Hopefully nothing comes out between today and tomorrow. But look, if that happens, we'll catch it next week. It'll be fun.
New X-Men trailer dropping in 4 hours.
Oh no! But will Sean, take us out, Connor?
Yes! That is so weird. Great minds think alike.
God, we are so in sync. Thank you, everyone, for listening to this episode of Movie Mondays. We'll be back on Wednesday with Weird News Wednesday, Friday with Hero or Zero, and next Monday with another episode of Movie Mondays. Big thanks goes out to all of our patrons over on Patreon, patreon.com/heroesforhire podcast if you want to support us over there. And as always, I am legally and morally obligated to read out any name that anyone writes in for the Patreon. So I'm just going to rattle through them here now. So Waffles Insert something funny here. Williams, Ciara Lawler, David Clarke, Ed Ball, Joe Snyder cut my hair, Bernie, Raymond, Amethyst Realms X Ging, Roisin, still not quite sure who the Eternals are. Can someone explain them to me?
Sean,
Hally,
just really quickly, Sean, Roisin's after raising another good point
there. You're not doing this again. Every week.
No, go on.
Ryan, Satron Paint, Evanson, Shaun, Connor's a dummy, sphere for a head, Jamieson.
Now, this sounds like me just saying this, but Shaun did specifically message the podcast saying to take out the Connor's a dummy bit, but now I feel like now, I should have told you this before recording, now it just feels like I'm panicking and trying to defend myself.
No, look, the Google Doc is edited. I'll be verifying that message actually exists, but for now...
He actually said, Shaun is a dummy.
Thank you to Dominic, Jessiah, Florida Gal Green, Anna, Hooks for Hands Hjelmroos, and Little Dicky, Weird Al says to just eat it, McGrew.
Little Dicky never disappoints, so...
Keeping it fresh all the time.
Always keeping it fresh. So, so I think that's it for another week, Shaun.
I think that's about it, Connor.
So, I have been Connor Lawler.
I have been Shaun Meehan.
I will see you next week, guys.
Bye.
Bye.